We're going to switch tracks for a little bit and talk a little bit about how you can engage with NewView for fractional services. I know we always take the opportunity to talk to you about some of our services that you may be interested in. So we'll spend just about 10 minutes talking about how you can work with us for fractional services. And after that, we're going to get into the real meat of our presentation, talking about some of the bigger topics related to financial reporting, co-pilot, and administration improvements that are in the new release as well.
I'd like to talk with you about how you can engage NewView for fractional services. I don't know about you, but if you've tried to hire these experts lately, you'll find that they're hard to find. The job market is really tight, and one of the things that you're looking for, Business Central experience, is the hardest to find. I can tell you lots of stories about different companies who've looked for these particular roles to fill a gap with their company. We had one company who had their AP person, in fact, two AP people leave their jobs with no notice. And over the course of a few months, they hired 3 accounts payable temps who honestly made things much worse than when they started. They brought us in with a single person to help them to catch up with what they had fallen behind on and to improve their processes. And we were able to make a big difference for them, as well as help them to find a new person who had the right qualifications and stick with them while we helped to train and onboard that new AP person before we exited the engagement. We had another company who let go their controller, and they had no idea what that controller did. And they were really in a spot because they couldn't figure out how to close their month. They brought in one of our consultants as a fractional controller who figured out exactly what they should be doing, not necessarily what they were doing, establish new processes and documentation, and again, help them with their new hire to make sure that they were prepared and supported, and over the next few months mentored in their tasks before they were ready to operate independently. We had another customer who planned to have somebody leave. They had somebody going out on maternity leave. So we were able to plan well in advance what needed to be done, what needed to be covered, access to all of the proper systems, and make sure that we could hand things off back to this person when they returned from their maternity leave. I know one of our more popular engagements is for a contract CFO, for people who are just looking for a fractional CFO to guide them through a particular stage of their company. A lot of companies who've chosen us for this particular engagement have been going through a lot of growth. And they're still a small company. They're not ready to absorb the cost of a full-time CFO, but they need somebody who can guide them through how they use their ERP and how they use their business processes to get through those changes that come along with massive growth. We even help partners. We've had plenty of partners who've reached out for specialty system architect services when they're needed. Sometimes all of the people that they have as architects are books, or they need somebody with a very special set of skills. And we have plenty of folks who can fill those type of roles and help out with an implementation or a re-implementation or a rescue or a go live, all of those type of things where you may need somebody to weigh in on what's happening behind the scenes in the system. Another type of engagement that we've been moving forward with is strategic partnership as far as CIO or CTO services, helping your company to keep their overall IT services and strategy under control. And of course, what you know us the best for is our functional Business Central experts, that if you have ad hoc projects or phase 2 implementations and you need ongoing training and business process improvement, we have experts who can do that. We have a very wide network of people that we work with. If you need an expert in a particular thing, we can find them from the people that we know and get you started working with them. I will tell you that having Business Central and NAV, the prior version before Business Central was named as it is, really makes all the difference. Overall, the higher quality work and the faster movement, because you're working with somebody who knows what they're doing already. We're not learning on your dime. That makes all the difference. Having experienced people who've done these type of things again and again and understand specifically your ERP system means that you spend less time on the project and you have a lot more flexibility and wisdom that comes along with engaging these kind of fractional resources. So as you think about how to get started with this, we'll start with a call to figure out exactly what it is that you need and figure out what your priorities are, what your timeline is, how the tasks will fit in that timeline, and how that fits into your budget, and create a plan of action so that everybody's clear on the scope of what's being done and when it's going to be accomplished. We always send a contract, a non-disclosure agreement, and then we'll have an invoice that starts with an initial payment. Once those signed documents and the initial payment are received, your services and the start time for your services are guaranteed. You will know exactly when things are going to begin. You'll need to grant us remote access to your systems. A project plan that is shared so that you have access to it as well as we do is published out there so that everybody can check on exactly what's happening. Currently, we do need about 60 days to reschedule. We do have sometimes open up and we keep a waiting list, and we can sometimes take an emergency placement depending on our current commitments. But whenever we can plan ahead for this, of course, that's preferred. The one thing that I'll emphasize related to this is once we get going, there's accountability to process. We're going to have regular check-ins with you, status updates in the format that you desire. We'll have defined deliverables in that project plan. We always take stock of exactly where we're at for new priorities that come up and make sure that we're keeping scope creep from happening, or if there is a change in priority, making that with intention and including that back in the project plan. Finally, a planned exit. We're not planning to stay in your business forever as a fractional employee. We're there to fill a gap. We're there to help you with an interim project or position. We want to make sure that our exit is as easy as possible for you, and we're handing that off in whatever way is needed, whether that's just handing things back off to somebody who's with your organization already, or helping you to hire somebody and training them, helping them to understand their tasks as they go. We want to make that as smooth and easy as possible. You can easily set up a time to meet with me by using the link that's shown here in this slide. We can just spend a short time talking about exactly what we can do to help you out with your company. So whether it's an immediate need where you need to talk with somebody right away, or whether it's something that you're planning for the future, I would encourage you to set up a quick appointment and we can talk about how that's done. There are plenty of other services that we offer. We have videos on all of these different topics out on our YouTube channel explaining how you can engage with us for training, services, our Consultants Accelerator training program, and Business Central assessments. So if you're looking for a little bit more information on some of those other topics that we've covered on how to work with us, you can find them at the link shown here. I'll point out that at our year end for 2024, we are offering a special for 10% off on our New View assessments. Anything that's contracted by the end of the year will offer 10% off. So if that's something that you're interested in, please just set up an appointment to talk with me and we'll get that going.